We are beginning the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius means innovation and technology. Um, in the 60s, when people were talking about Aquarius, they talked about this paradise of humanity, that everyone were living in communities and these kind of things. But that's much more a Pisces way of thinking on how Aquarius should be. Aquarius, if you know Aquarian people, they're all weird. So nobody knows what is going to happen. Actually, you can never expect what is going to happen in Aquarius, but you can expect that they will find a way to do exactly the opposite to what you expect from them. And imagine that for 2,500 years. A civilization that will innovate every day, and you cannot adapt because you have no idea what is going to happen. The next 2,000 years will be very technological. AI will be like the common sense of humanity, um, and will take over as a new way of consciousness. Uh, this is nature. This is something that is going to happen. We think that we create this, but actually it's the mineral realm using us to create this. So mm, the the problem that we face is not AI, it's our consciousness, because AI learns from us. So what we do, the AI will do. And if we are still in conflict, war, racism, and all this kind of conflicts that we have today, so AI will learn from that and do the same with us. So I don't think that is a bad thing, um, technology in this next 2,000 years. Is actually a very good expansion for consciousness, a very good practice to integrate consciousness. Dimensions are basically to go through different dimensions, to go through different measurements of only one thing. So, for example, a human, it's only one being that has many dimensions at the same time. So now in this reality, we have three dimensions that we can control, let's say, which is high, wide, and depth. So that's why third dimension. But we also use a fourth one, but we don't know how to control it, which is time. So the movement of this third dimension is the fourth dimension. And inside of it, we have the information, which is the fifth dimension. And going beyond, you have the transformation of the three aspects, which is the sixth dimension, and so on. So actually, the dimensions are not something far away in the cosmos, are just different aspects of yourself here. And your brain, your body are used and designed to understand these three realities in order to be able to move through this world. But when you transcend this world, or the idea of this world, you start to live the fourth dimension, which is you start to remember your past lives, you start to connect with ideas of the future, and you start to live the present like never before. So you start to live the fourth dimension, and things happen very fast, and you don't understand why it's happening so perfectly. That's usually the fourth dimension. You start to feel, to sense, to listen to other beings. And then the masters come and they start to guide you and to show you the maps, which is the fifth dimension. So actually we are living constantly in all the dimensions, but just paying attention to one of them. Let's compare this with a song, for example. When you listen to a song, or a musician would know how to interpret this, the thing that gives meaning to the song is the silence. It's not the notes. So the silence in between is the one that helps you understand the movement of the music. So death is the silence of life, which is the song. Without death, there's no meaning to life. So, but in the same way as a song, in every silence, in every breath you take in the middle of a song, it keeps going. So, because the universe is basically a constant wave of frequency, so it never stops. Life keeps going, energy keeps going. Even if sometimes it goes down, it never disappears. It's just silence for a moment, so it gains forces to rise up again. So, death is not the end. It's the end of a concept of an experience that you had. So when you try to when you think about yourself like if this is the only reality that you can possibly live, and you don't release the ego of it, like the control of that reality, you will always fear death, because actually it's not the fear of dying, it's the fear of losing who you are. But when you become aware that you are everything, when you suddenly remember that the universe is actually you, and how everything is connected, so death will be like a holiday or another trip. And I remember that in the past traditions in Atlantean times, we used to celebrate death, and the first thing that people would say when we were born was, "Welcome to life, the path towards death." And we were prepared to die all our lives. Today is the opposite. Like, we have to live because one day we will die. And actually, in the ancient cultures, it was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to die." Like, yeah, so I have to create my best experiences. I have to be happy, not because I don't know what would happen after, but because it will be a new adventure. And when we start to change these concepts of death like a new adventure instead of the end of what I'm now, dying becomes something totally light, not the end of anything. Yeah, many deaths. And in most of them, I had no idea how to enjoy it. So I was attached to different. So my previous life. For example, 900 years ago, I died in Jerusalem or close by tuberculosis. In the streets, nobody to take care of me, so I was just there. There was I remember a Jewish gal that just came by and gave me some bread, and that was the last memory I have. And I remember that I felt that I was losing my faith too. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm dying here, and there's no purpose on anything. So it was not always good. I remember dying by being killed, being hanged, being drowning in the middle of the ocean. So many different deaths that now I can speak them like naturally. But when I started to remember that when I was 13, it was terrible because I was feeling it. I was feeling every death, and how horrible it was because I had no consciousness about it. I only remember maybe 2 or 3 deaths that were conscious, and it was great what happened after. What happens after you die is related to the consciousness you have when you die, or the emotion you have when you die. Like, it's not the same dying like this than like this. The position of the body on the moment of the death is expansion or contraction. So when you contract in the death, it's like you are hold to everything, so you start to see everything dark. And like this fear of, I don't want to lose it, I don't want to lose it. So that's how you become like a ghost for at least a few days or weeks, and some people for centuries. Like, you get attached so much to your life that you don't want to leave. But what suddenly happens is that you think that you're alive and you keep living the same life, but in a loop. But you don't realize that it's a loop. You don't realize time because it's the 4th dimension. So that happens when usually you are attached. Then there's a middle point in which there's a process where you start to feel someone that is talking to you, and someone that says, "Come with me. I will guide you here," or like an angel or someone known. Um, so they take you to a path and to recognize, oh, this was your home. Do you remember? But to get there, usually people goes through the dark, goes through a moment of nothing until you start to put it all together. It's like going to sleep. It's like going to sleep, but eventually you start to dream. So most of the night we don't remember anything. It's like all black, and suddenly you start to live a life again. Well, imagine that, but after you die, like going to sleep, and suddenly you wake up doing crazy stuff. Um, so that would be basically how what happened after. It's not like immediately you go to a tunnel of light and suddenly you see angels or whatever. Well, no, then no. No, I'm not a guru. Um, I think I love to be an educator more than a guru, because I'm not trying to bring people from darkness to light. What I'm trying to do is to people to understand why light exists and why darkness exists, and what can you do with both of them. So I'm kind of neutral in all of this.